The Dharma topic. The division of Sectarian Buddhism. The first division of the original Sangha occurred approximately 100 years after the parinirvana of Shakyamuni Buddha, sometime after the Second Buddhist Council due to disputes over the Vinaya. The split saw the emergence of two sects or schools, namely the Sthavaravada branch, the elders, and Mahasamgika branch, of the Great Sangha. The seniors or elders, Sthavara in Sanskrit, formed the Stavaravada, while the more liberal but orthodox majority formed the Mahasamgika. The Mahasamgika was less willing to accept the ideas of the other sects. They even suspected that many of the additions were created by the senior monks themselves. Further subdivisions followed, leading to the emergence of 18 schools in total. These 18 schools, together with the first two sects, were sometimes known or referred to as the 20 sects. Dharmaguptaka is the fundamental Stavaravada branch of Chinese Buddhism, and Mulasarvastivada, the fundamental Stavaravada branch of Tibetan Buddhism. They are both branches of Stavaravada, thus the modern Theravada Buddhism cannot monopolize the term Stavaravada. It began as a Theravada, Southern Buddhism, tradition in Sri Lanka, but it is a branch of the Tamrasaya that falls under the fundamental Stavaravada in India that is similar to Dharmaguptaka and Mulasarvastivada. The names of the 18 schools are in Sanskrit and are not known as Theravada. Among these 18 schools, the Stavaravada has more branches than the Mahasamgika. All of these branches have their own Sutra Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, and Abhidharma Pitaka. In the early period only the Vinaya Pitaka is different and each sect had its unique viewpoint. In fact, the content of the Vinaya Pitaka of these schools are essentially identical, but each sect has its own interpretation of the Abhidharma Pitaka. There are two schools with relatively complete versions. One of them in Sanskrit is known as the Sarvastivada, Sarva, every or all, Asti, exist, and Veda, theory, that means the theory of all existence. The origin of this version can be traced to Central Asia. It is recorded in Indian history that a Buddhist king in Central Asia, King Kanishk, was a great patron of Sarvastivada. The Sabbathivada of the Theravadins is the translated Pali version of the Sarvastivada. Now there are three living Buddhist traditions, one of which is the Theravada tradition, Southern Buddhism, that spread to Southeast Asia from India to Sri Lanka in the south. The other two are Chinese Buddhist tradition and Tibetan Buddhist tradition. In Theravada Buddhism and some other sects, after living a monastic life for 10 years, one is called a Thero, Sthavara. After 30 years of being a monastic, one reached the rank of Mahathero, Mahasthavira. As a result, when the monastic order was split, those elders remained staunchly conservative. The Pratimokkha, Sanskrit, or Buddhist monastic code transmitted in Chinese Buddhism should not be referred to as Mahayana or Chinese Pratimokkha, as Dharmaguptaka belonged to the fundamental Stavaravada. The Pratimokkha that Chinese monks followed are derived from a branch of the fundamental Stavaravada that is very close to the branch that emerged in Sri Lanka after Ashoka. Therefore, if we were to compare the Pratimokkha of the Theravada tradition in Sri Lanka to that of the Dharmaguptaka, we can see that they are essentially similar. The Bhikshu precepts in the Dharmaguptaka Vinaya, or the Quarta Vinaya, consists of a set of 250 monastic rules. It is contained in the Sanskrit canon of the Sarvastivada, doctrine that all is real, tradition that was widely known in northern Buddhist countries. The Theravada tradition has a set of 227 monastic rules. After the Tipitaka arrived in Sri Lanka, Buddhaghosa assembled the first collection in Pali at Aluvihara, which was then written into Sinhala script on patra leaves. In Tibet, there is a monastic ordination that belongs to a sub-branch of the fundamental Stavaravada, the Mulasarvastivada, a sub-branch of the Sarvastivada. Very often the Chinese and Tibetan precepts are mistakenly categorized as Mahayana precepts. It is important to note that Bhikshu precepts of all schools belong to the Hinayana or Sravaka precepts. The monks of the two schools mentioned earlier follow the Sravaka precepts as well. The Bhikkhuni precepts were previously found in southern Buddhism, Theravada, countries as well, but have since been lost, possibly because they are more focused on males and neglected the females. There are very diligent female monastics in the Southeastern Asian countries, such as Thailand. These monastics are not recognized as nuns even though they follow the precepts strictly. They don white attires. Those who received the 8 or 10 precepts in Myanmar wear pink attires. Not long ago, some women from southern and Tibetan countries received the Bhikshuni precepts, 4-part Vinaya, of Dharmaguptaka Vinaya with the assistance of Chinese Buddhist elder monks and nuns.